All right, we're live again. Trying something different. We're doing a little elevated camera angle here. I've got the camera on a tripod, and the questions go by so fast on the phone that I've got like a laptop here. So I thought I would try to catch the questions like on the stream here. I mean, it's going to be delayed, right? So catch the questions like on the stream here. Yeah. Oh man, that doesn't look half bad. All right, we got 5 folks watching. Welcome. All right, we're going to do some drumming. We're going to answer some questions. We're going to chat it up. Let's see if we can get this framing a little bit better here. It's a little, exposure is a little much. But we've had 2 successful iPhone streams so far. And I've decided to leave them up for folks to watch after the fact. So we'll see what happens with this one. All right, we've got 6 folks. I think this camera angle is a little better, actually. I'm down to one extra stick. I've got to hit up Vader. Let's see. I'm watching the stream on the laptop here, waiting to see if anyone has any questions. We got 6 folks. So let's just start by, just warming up here. Do some playing. See if I can find oh, they're over there. What's up, Steve? Hey, there's folks. Hey, Steve from Argentina. How about you, buddy? Explain Todd Zuckerman blushed and why he copied It's Not a Toy. Let me get my headphones really quick. I mean, part of me likes that Todd mentioned, it's not a toy on his thing. Another part of me is like, well, I mean, it would have been nice if he mentioned me, but whatever. It's not important. Todd's a great drummer, and he's had a lot of success, and he's a fantastic player. So yeah, it would be silly to get upset about something like that. Todd's great, and the drum knowledge is out there for everybody, so we're just going to keep it positive. Let's see. It was your phrase. It is possible that I came up with that phrase, but again, I didn't trademark it. I don't want to trademark it. And those that know. Okay, let's just leave it at that. You guys are funny. Flam roll, someone said. Hello from Scotland. It is hard. Turning on those 30 seconds at slower tempos, I'm still working on that stuff, man. That is hard. That's where all that paradiddle stuff comes in, you know? We're going to keep working on it, okay? Because we suck at it. I sound like Gollum. We suck at it. Okay. I've got the stream going on the laptop here so I can read the questions so they don't go away so fast. So let's go back a little bit. Let's see. First of all, how is the sound? Please tell me how the sound is. Scotland, Flam Rolls, Uruguay. Hello, everybody. What a great guy. Music for all. Hi, Steve. Hello. Woohoo. Some quality playing. Thank you. Pata Flafla lick. Sure. Hi from South Africa. Squib cakes. Yeah, a little bit. Super good stuff. Awesome. Everyone, thank you for the kind words. Might be a dumb question, but do you give private lessons? I do. I do give private lessons. Send me an email. steveholmes@gmail.com and we'll set something up. All right. Sound is solid, says Joint Venture. Thank you, Joint Venture. Bobby Vincent, back for more. Dude, you're 3 for 3, Bobby. This is the third one. We got a different camera angle this time. Let me know how it sounds. I've got the stream going on a laptop here so I don't miss the questions. Let's slow it down a little bit and try to clean up some of that 30-second note stuff we were doing. Hello from Croatia. Good sound. Thank you, Croatia. Greetings from Turkey. Wow. Man, thanks, everyone. that stuff is hard. 30-second no phrasing at medium tempos. Always something that like eluded me, you know? So I was try to slow it down but still kind of improvise and just, you know, hopefully the muscle memory kind of like kicks in. Thanks for all the effort. Really like your altered trio music. Thank you, Ben. Let's see, greetings from Turkey. Let's see, sounds great indeed. Much love from Turkey. Love your paradiddle stuff. Thank you. Bobby Vincent went on Dave DeCenzo excursion after your suggestion. Yes. Man, you guys, Dave DeCenzo is just, he's just one of the best drummers alive right now. He's just ridiculous. All right. Anyone interested in supporting the channel, leave a super or a super sticker. There's the big smiley face and the little $sign there if you want to support the channel and help with the upgrade the streaming setup fund. I don't have a Patreon or anything, so this is it. I'm the old guy on the corner with the tin can, but like the digital version. So if you want to support the channel, click the super, the little big smiley face, and you can donate money through what's called a super sticker. So yeah, it all goes in the streaming upgrade slush fund. So anyone interested in supporting, that would be the way to do it. Someone left. Yes, the thumbs up too. Thank you. Someone left a comment on the last stream about flams. There was like some flammy stuff I was doing, and I mentioned that I would talk about that in the next stream. So arms a little stiff because I didn't like warm up at all. I just like dove right in. Do I ever miss having two toms up? Once in a while, once in a great while. But Pablo Wasan. James Hall, thanks for all the inspiration. Thank you, James Hall. I know another James Hall. I wonder if you're the same one. Do I ever miss having two toms? Sometimes. I mean, I like doing like the 6-stroke rolls, like 2 and 2 and 2. Like, like I used to do that all the time, but that was part of the reason why I switched to a 4-piece was to take the existing vocabulary and apply it on less drums, but also have the less drums inspire like new phrasing and stuff, which it totally has. It forces me to come up with phrasing and stuff like with just these two toms and that kind of thing. But honestly, like the reason why most guys switch when they get older is because they need to lower the ride cymbal. Because the lower the ride cymbal, the less of your shoulder you have to use to play. Like all the early footage of like, you know, Weck and stuff and Vinny, Anton Fig. Anton Fig is the king. Like you watch some of that 80s like David Letterman band stuff, his ride is so high. Vinny's ride used to be so high. And the thing is, like, if you put your hand on your shoulder when your hand is up and you feel like how much muscle am I using right now, and then you lower it. As you lower it, you're using your shoulder like way less. Oh man, Digital Perspective with the $50 donation. Woo! Steve, I've been playing professionally for 30 years. Grateful for your sharing your content. You're a great player. Thanks for all you do. Thank you, Digital Perspectives. I feel odd addressing you by that name, but man, thank you so much for the support, you guys. Hit the super if you want to support the channel. Digital Perspectives. Woo! Thank you so much. So grateful. Yes, the lower the stick, the less the shoulder. And that's a big motivator. I mean, everyone eventually lowers their ride when they get older. And that's one of the big reasons. So Virgil Donati, when he first hit the scene, he really like inspired me to try to get some different flam phrasing going. Nobody plays flams like Virgil, period, the end. Like nobody does. And I noticed, my name is Brad Kimes, okay, Brad, thank you so much, I appreciate it, man. One of the things that Virgil does is he plays flams like in succession, like right and left-handed flams, like really fast, you know. Like he really has that happening, and he would be playing like some cool fill, and like in the middle of the fill, he would just be like blah 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 blah, that kind of stuff, and I was like, whoa, like what is that? And so I started trying to improvise phrases just using like flam accents, super simple, you know. Dick Nixon, $10. Thank you, Dick Nixon. Some of those phrases were really challenging. Playing two flams in a row, and when I say flam, I mean like two sticks together for those that don't know, and like a left-handed flam means that the left hand comes down second and is the accent. So here's a left-handed flam, and then a right-handed flam is the opposite. The right-hand flam comes down. The right hand comes down second. It is the accent, and the left hand is kind of like the grace note or the soft note before, right? Right-handed flam. Left-handed flam, right? So playing those two things in succession is pretty tricky. So I would just try like whatever, triplets, 16 notes, the normal stuff. Or fives like that. So I worked on that to try to get the ability to play flams, and then stuff like I was doing before, improvising phrases but using flam accents, and the notes in between the flams I would just stick on one hand. I'd be like, flam right, flam left, flam right, flam left, flam right, flam left, that kind of things. Like two flams in a row on the downbeat. It's challenging for me. So once I started getting that happening, then I wanted to put like doubles in there, because you guys know I'm all about the doubles, right? So instead of like, I'll be like, you're like. Like da 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 da, right? Left hand and a right hand of flam. Left right. Sorry. Then I would start putting doubles in those little strokes in between. If you fifth every five, if you flam every fifth, 16th note, and then you start putting doubles in there, that's something I go to a lot of times. Really cool. Left, right, flam, right, left. Sorry, I know it's hard without transcriptions, and what I say with the sticking is, like, sometimes I know I say it incorrectly, and I apologize for that. It's just kind of the nature of this, like, off-the-cuff, like, improvising and trying to describe, like, exactly what it is. I'm just trying to slow it down so you guys can see. But that's the point, is, like, improvising phrases, but instead of, like, normal accents, like, I play flams as accents, and then I start to double the stuff in between, right? And I think it kind of sounds cool, and when I'm doing that stuff, you might notice at faster tempos, I try to keep the doubles like, super tight, super quick. This is all like drum corps style drumming. Like if you guys are not familiar with drum corps drumming, you need to check it out. Go to YouTube after this or now, whatever. Like, and just look up like DCI. DCI is the name of, like, it used to be anyway. I'm kind of out of the loop with this stuff, right? But like drum corps drumming, like, you know, the Blue Devils and that kind of stuff. Like I have a friend that played snare with the Blue Devils. That's like the elite Navy SEALs of friggin' rudimental drumming, you guys. Check out DCI, check out the drum corps stuff. And there's some really good quality footage out there now, not just of like these field shows they do, but like rehearsals in the parking lot and stuff. This stuff is so cool. Really good drumming. And I was actually very lucky because the high school that I went to was all into this stuff, and we had to learn that kind of stuff, you know, at the high school level, obviously, but still, like, there was a lot of double stroke oriented phrasing, and that kind of gave me the foundation for that stuff in New Jersey at Mainland Regional High School in Linwood, New Jersey. That's where I went. And in, let's see, like from like 86 to 90, I actually have a video on my channel that shows some of the stuff from those years. And, you know, I tweaked the audio a little bit and tried to make it sound decent. And it's pretty cool. Like I would suggest that you guys check out that kind of drumming. It's great for the hands, and it's super like cool just as a drummer, just checking that stuff out. All right, so that's my take on flam phrasing. I've got the stream going on the laptop. Let's see what other questions we got here. Let's see. Dick Nixon with the $10 donation. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Let's see. Flantastic. Phone audio is great. I don't know how the phone mic provided this quality. I know, right? The phone mic is crazy. And I've got the phone plugged in. Whoa, we got another donation here. 20 bucks. Man, thank you so much, you guys. The support is so appreciated. I will get to that comment. Let's see. Yeah, with the diddle in between, that's what we did. Mess around with that. Oh, it's 3/4. You guys check out this person's name. 3/4. Maybe we should talk about that. Is that a hint? Talk about 3/4. I love 3/4. Yeah, the cadets, Tom Hannum from Garfield. I'm not hip to like the big names in that community. Digital Perspectives. You have the sound shape internalized badass. I mean, thank you. Thank you, Brad, at Digital Perspectives. I love that style of drumming, but like I don't keep up with it every day. I don't like check the news, and I'm not like hip to like the day-to-days going on and like the VIPs of that community. 3/4 again. Thank you so much for the $20. Yeah, if you want to support the channel, guys, hit the super. But I did notice like some of these videos, like these rudimental drumming competitions that they have, these guys that play and they make videos. I noticed that they like eyeball the camera while they're playing. That's like a pet peeve of mine. If you guys ever make videos playing, don't look into the camera. It's so awkward for the viewer. Like I hate this. You're like. How awkward is that? I hate that stuff. Could not agree more. Yes, totally. You know, and it's funny because Sando, hello from Brazil. Let's see that shit here. Yeah, I'll show that comment. What was I gonna say? Yeah, looking into the camera, like so awkward, you know. And these collaborations video that like professional bands do, like these professional rock bands out there, like big name bands, you know, because they're not used to like doing these video stuff, and they're like. The vocalist, you know, records his take like at his house, you know, like Styx did one. Speaking of Todd Zuckerman, Styx did a video of Too Much Time on My Hands, and I like that song, you know, and I think Styx is a great band. But that collaboration video, it's just me personally, like when people are singing and they're looking right into the camera, like I can't do that. I can't. I gotta not watch that. All right. Let's talk about something else. Someone asked you a question. Let's talk about something. We talked about flams. And when the questions come up, like it's going to be delayed for me because I'm watching on a laptop. Hello from Portugal. Yes. Greetings, Portugal. Let's see, we got 52 people. Brushes, man. You're asking the wrong guy about brushes. I'm not good enough, Andy. I'm not good enough with brushes to give instruction on it. You know, I know like brushes 101. If you want brush stuff, like I would suggest that you like go watch Clayton Cameron videos. Like I've done my share of brush gigs, you know, coffee shop gigs and stuff, and I've kind of put in my time with brushes, and I think brushes are super important, but I'm not comfortable enough like showing the world like how much I suck with brushes. Although, you know whose brush playing is super unique that I love? This guy I'm just a fan of in general, but his brush playing is pretty unique, is Tos Panos. if you guys are not familiar with Toss pianos, check out Toss. And it actually might be hard to find videos of him playing brushes, but he does like this thing where his like palm is down, and he's got it feeling really good and comfy. Toss is amazing. There's a live record with Mike Landau, this guitar player, that Toss used to play with. It's like live at the Baked Potato. There's a tune called Ghouls and Goblins, or Ghosts and Goblins, something like that. And it's got this drum intro. It's so good. I love the drumming. I love Toss. Hello to Toss. Let's see. Greetings from Mallorca. You know where this is? I don't. I don't know where it is. Deep Purple tune with Virgil. Joe Harkstra guitar plays. Stares at the camera the whole time, dude. I could not watch that. Enjoy your playing. It would be so cool. Is all. Thanks for the tips. Andy, oh, you're still talking about brushes. Yeah, sorry, Andy. Sorry to be a bummer. Push-pull technique, not really. A little bit. I mean, the push-pull thing, like, you know, I've seen guys talk about that. Like, oh, I can't even do it, man. That's as fast as, like, I suck at that stuff. And I try to do it with my left hand, like the buddy thing, like da-da-da-da-da, you know, like, and it's funny because, you know, this is one of those things that like Weck put out those videos like in the 90s. Not his first one with DCI, but like after he put out another set of videos like what to practice and how to record and stuff. This was still before the internet. And he talks about like the push-pull thing with the left hand, and I was like, oh my God, finally. But he never explained how to do it. He's just like, oh yeah, it's just this kind of thing, and I can talk about this later, he says, and then he never talks about it again. I remember being really frustrated with that, Dave. But when I took a lesson with him later, I was like, Dave, show me how to do it. And so he did. And so basically it's like, it's kind of like the Moeller technique with, you know, the open-close thing with the left hand. And again, I suck at this, okay? But I just kind of know the basics. But it's like doing the initial stroke, like the down stroke, and letting the stick bounce up, right? Right? Like the fulcrum is like where the thumb, like this is the fulcrum right here. And so this is where the control is. And so I can open and close by hand and still keep control here, right? And so you hit the drum, the stick bounces up, and then you close the hand. And when you close, you get another stroke, right? Like close, stroke, boom, right? Down stroke, close stroke. That's the extent to which I suck at it. But that's from what I understand. That's how you do it. There's probably guys that are really good at it. But the thing is, dim the lights. I should dim the lights for all this stuff. Steve, coming from House of Drumming, how about some shuffle grooves? Sure, I'll play some shuffles, no problem. The thing is, like with the open-close stuff, even the guys that could do that stuff really good, you can only do it at low volume. You can't do that stuff at like high volume, and that's another reason why I kind of don't want to put in the time, because I don't think it's worth the bang for buck. Can I still play the Neil Peart ride pattern? Steve Gardner. Oh, Steve, are you the Steve? I think you're the Steve from the Rush podcast, right? I think so. Just because Steve asked for the Neil ride pattern, okay? Oh man, come on, what am I doing? That's the Neil stuff. Man, rest in peace. Neil Peart. Oh, love that guy's drumming. All right, let's play some shuffles. Someone asked for a shuffle, all right? The halftime shuffle. I mean, for those of you guys that aren't like familiar with it, and again, like I'm not terribly good at this stuff. I just kind of have fun doing with it, right? To do it fast tempos. I actually prefer to do it at slower tempos simply because it's easier. But really the trick to that kind of thing is like what's happening is like you're playing the first and the third note of the triplet on the hi-hat, that, and that the middle triplet you're playing as a ghost note, right? So it's like 3, 4. seriously, if you're trying to get good at this, I would suggest like just doing that and practicing like bass drum independence against that. Like just improvise with your bass drum, start simple like quarter notes and then just start like varying it up and stuff, and just don't stop this. And try to make sure your hi-hat is like at a good volume and the ghost note is like nice and soft. And just like, you know, you want to get it to where it's easy and you can do it relaxed. Everything you do, you want to get it to where it's easy and you can do it relaxed, because if it sounds relaxed, then it's grooving better. It's just easier to listen to. It's all about sounding relaxed, right? I'm like playing the Ted Reed figures, like with my foot against the halftime shuffle. I think that's the first bars of page 38, right? Or page 37. Let's try that again. Let's put a backbeat in there. That might be fun. I don't even know if I can do this, right? Started moving the backbeat around, but that's a cool exercise to practice if you're working on that halftime shuffle. I think I'm going to work on that at some point when I don't have when I don't have a friggin' audience. So yeah, bass drum independence. You know, get the backbeat happening. I'm a big fan of putting a ghost note after the backbeat, right? Which took a little time for me to get happening, and coincidentally, it was actually Tos Panos who inspired me to do that. There's a recording from a instrumental trio called the Fire Merchants with John Goodsall on guitar and Doug Ludd on bass. Rest in peace, Doug. And I apologize, I don't know if John Goodsall is still with us. Tos Panos is still with us, thankfully. I love Tos. Anyway, there's a slow tune on there. It's track number 3. And it's like like daga, like backbeat ghost note afterward, you know? Once I started getting the ghost note thing happening, instead of just one ghost note after the backbeat, I just started playing literally like as many 16ths as I could. Like that's basically the key to ghost noting. And it's dangerous because once you get in the habit of filling in all the 16ths with your left hand, you just do it automatically. You're not even thinking about it, which is bad, because that means the decision of what you're playing does not come from what's good for music. It comes from just, you know, muscle memory. And tons of musicians play like that, myself included. And that's really not what you should be doing. You should be asking yourself, like, hey, how does this song sound best? What drum part would make this song elevate to its maximum potential? And that's what you should play, really. I mean, if you're playing improvisational stuff, then it's kind of different, you know? I've been listening to a lot of pop music lately, believe it or not. A lot of like cheesy yacht rock stuff, you know, like Careless Whisper from George Michael and friggin' like Sailing from Christopher Cross, like that stuff. I'm kind of fascinated at, you know, the production of those kind of tunes and the decision-making process of what to play as a drummer. You know, a lot of that stuff is really, it's deceptively simple. It's really hard to do. And actually, the better you get on the drums, the harder it is to play less stuff, which is why, one of the reasons why I think Vinny is so impressive, because he, you know, can play all this stuff, but like he can just turn it off and only do like what the song needs to do, and not a lot of guys can do that stuff. You know, it's kind of crazy. Before I get into other questions, let's finish off the half note triplet thing. Sorry, not half note triplet, the halftime shuffle thing. Another reason why I like the halftime shuffle thing is because, you know, it's a cool vehicle to, like, you could put that in with like 6/8 kind of stuff. You know, like, let me just try to get there. You know. Also, I think it's cool to put the bass drum under the backbeat, you know, for like extra emphasis, but like do that on purpose. Don't do it by accident, you know, like. Another cool thing with the halftime shuffle stuff is the little like changing it from triplets to like sixteenths. I'm actually not even sure of the subdivision, you guys. I apologize. I don't know if it's 16-note triplets or like sixteenths, but like it's the difference between like I'll switch between the two. Okay, but this is cool. This is important. Trying to do lately is like strategically inserting buzz strokes in there, you know, boot, that, you know, and I'm not doing it out of habit. I'm doing it because that's what I hear in my head, like as the groove, like boot, that, you know. That's cool too. Like when you're playing something in triplets, and again, this is the kind of stuff that like the guys that I like do all the time. And this is key. I think you guys should dig this. Okay, if you're playing in a triplet kind of feel, and it's time to play a fill, and you go to like a straight subdivision. So you're like right? Those are like straight, like you're playing straight 16ths, and then you go back to the shuffle. You know, I think that's kind of hit. You know. That's what I mean towards the end there, like just improvising over triplets basically, but it kind of seamlessly connects with the half note, with the halftime shuffle, because you know it's all over triplets. This stick's going to go soon, I think. We'll see. And again, that's like, you know, a lot of people talk about the Ningo, right? Like Afro-Cuban groove, you know, like basic Ningo is like crap, okay? But that groove, understanding that groove and feeling the quarter note underneath of it, like if you notice I'm doing like four on the floor underneath of it, like 1, 2, 60 notes. 6/8. Just demonstrating the subdivisions, right? But if I play something that's more complicated, it's still the same thing. You know, like I take that Ningo groove and I just like start to improvise with those accents, and instead of doing a cross stick, you know, I'm just like doing, you know, backbeat stuff. tom and the cymbal at the same time, love. Will do like the 680 stuff, and he's putting double strokes like between like the ride cymbal on the hi-hat. That's one of my favorite things that Weck does, man. Like no one else was doing that stuff. He comes out, he's like it's not just this, it's not just this, it's like this, like ride and hi-hat together. It's so tasty too, the way he does it. Like, I mean, and at the risk of sounding cheesy, like that was one of the big things about like fusion drumming in the 90s. This was like, oh, and here, but like the left hand's always going to the hat. Like I do that stuff almost too much, you know, and it's totally applicable to the 6/8 stuff, you know. If you just start playing, he starts doubling. So that's what I mean, like weaving that stuff together, like 680 kind of stuff, straight subdivision, 16ths, halftime shuffle, like all against the quarter note. And I have a lot of fun going, you know, traveling like from layer to layer to layer. Like I enjoy doing that stuff, but in order to do that, like you gotta be able to feel those kind of phrasing against the quarter note at all times, basically. So the halftime shuffle for me was like, boom, floodgate break open to all that stuff. So I've got the stream going on a laptop here. I'm gonna read the comments. Let's see, how are we doing? Let's see, diddle in the middle triplet, love that. Oh man, Victor Manuel Herta, I'm not sure what you're saying, buddy, because we need a translation there. Sorry, kick drum sounds so great. Diddle, middle triplet, love that. Sounds awesome. The kick is fat on the phone, I know, right? I love the freaking phone sound, it's nuts. The Blush to Steve, how do I get my right hand double up to speed? It says David Morton. You guys want to tell him, or should I? Just got to practice, David. If you find that you have a weak hand, you know, like talk about the iPhone microphone. Let's see if I can pick this up. Like, I spend a lot of time playing like on my leg, believe it or not. Like, I beat the crap out of my leg, and I just practice doubles. Or if you have a weak hand, if your right is weak, then do like single left, double right. You just got to put in the time. You just got to practice. You know, like really, really work it. Like emphasize that double. And another important thing to realize when you're practicing this stuff, you guys, is that you don't want to spend too much time in the place where you can't do it. If you get to the place where like you just can't do it, don't stay there. Like back it, like slow it down until you can, and then stay there, right? And then maybe the next time you practice, or and in that session, like you can you know, you could speed it up a little bit, you know. Or who knows, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you want to spend a lot of time in the place where like, you know, you can't do it. Someone actually told me that one time. Where's my water? Here it is. All right, this is fun. Let's continue reading comments. That's how you get your right hand double up to speed. David Morton, yes. Happy to catch the gems you're throwing, Steve. Thank you. Ooh, a bit of staring into the camera. No, thanks. 30 seconds. They probably are 30 seconds. I love that. I started concentrating on that diddle middle watching you years ago. Thanks, Holmes. You're welcome. Change the 30 seconds. Let's see. Love ghost notes after the backbeat. Yes, me too. Toss Panos was the guy that really inspired me to do that. Great jam. Thanks, Steve. Thank you, Brad, at Digital Perspectives. Again, thanks for the donation. Bernard Purdy Shuffle. Yes, obviously Jeff and Bernard are known as like the kings of that stuff. I love the footage of Bernard Purdy's instructional video. Like, that guy is so... He's just so positive, and his personality like comes out while he plays. It's beautiful, really. Great playing as always. Could you comment on the trends in modern jazz, ride patterns, comping, time signatures, feel, etc.? Says Morton. Modern jazz ride, man, I don't really keep up with that stuff, you know. So I can't comment on modern jazz ride patterns. I mean, I just kind of found my thing, and I just kind of do my thing, you know. I mean, I do check stuff out, you know. I've been checking out, you know, like Marcus Gilmore's been, you know, really out there a lot with all the, you know, he's on a lot of the Chick Corea stuff, and so that stuff's more prominent, obviously. Recently, you know, rest in peace, Chick. And yeah, I really dig Marcus's phrasing and stuff. It's pretty killer. Like, he's obviously like at one with the music while he's playing. It's pretty nuts. I'm just not a fan of like, you know, kind of that low volume East Coast, you know, New York, you know, jazz drumming style, like just kind of the low volume, you know, tune your toms up like really high and kind of sound bebop-y. That's just not my thing, you know. I mean, I respect it and I love it, but I don't want to sound like that. Digging it now, cut back and forth ahead. Yes, okay, Bobby, I don't think I learned from any other drummers on YouTube. Thank you, Bobby. I appreciate that, you guys. Let's see. Bobby's agreed. He's a great player. Thank you. I swear the 10 always sounds exceptional. Ooh, someone donated. Dan Droid 42 with the $15. Thank you so much, Dan Droid. I appreciate it. If you guys want to support the channel, click that super, and it goes towards the streaming upgrade slush fund. We're going to be changing the drum room here potentially in a couple months, and things are still in motion, so it's not a done deal yet. So I don't want to jinx it, but it's possible that we're going to be changing the setup here in a couple months. I'm very excited about that. Because then that's when we're going to do like the full mic'd up through Logic, streaming through Logic, the full pro sound stream. But for now, the iPhone is totally getting it done. Let's see, 5Bs, sticks, yes. Scott Drum asked of course, what kind of sticks are you using? There you go, Vader 5B. I love my Vader 5Bs. I'm not a Vader artist. I contacted them a while ago, and I was exchanging email with the guy there, and we got some traction. But, you know, I just didn't follow up enough, and whatever, the wheels fell off, and I didn't pursue it. But I love Vader, and I would love to get a deal with them. So Chad at Vader, please, Chad, let's finish it. All right, let's do this. Have you ever took time off for your playing and returning to playing after a few years hiatus and playing the kit, new job, new baby, yada, yada, yada? I'm feeling pretty deflated, says B Suits. That's a good question, actually, you guys. Of course, of course. You know, I spend time away from the kid, and you know, I come back, and you know, obviously, the older I get, the more time it takes to get the rust off. You know, that's what I call it. You know, when I was young, you know, my friends used to make fun of me because I'd be able to go, you know, months without playing or a month, whatever, and I'd come back and just be able to turn it on, and it's like I can't do that anymore. You know. And so doing these streams every week has actually helped me kind of maintain like a fairly reasonable level of being warmed up and stuff. But yeah, totally, man. But you know, the benefit of taking a break is, for me anyway, um, when you come back after time, you play different stuff. You just play different stuff. It forces you to kind of reinvent stuff, and I think that's beneficial. You know, especially, and also like what you listen to during that break, like who you're watching, what you're thinking about, what music is like reaching you, and what do you have, like what you doing during that break. Like your musical personality is constantly like metamorphing, whatever the word is, metamorphosizing, professor, metamorphosizing. Um, but the point is, like, you know, your music personality and what dictates what you play based on like your life and what you listen to. And like, I dream about doing one of these pro quality Adam Neely, you know, wanna be kind of high production value videos where I just talk about that, like what you do, what you listen to, and then how it affects like what you play and how do you make the decision of like what to play. Like there's so much meat on that bone, and I would love to do a video on that topic. So the answer to your question, yes, I do take breaks. And you know, strengths and weaknesses. You know, it can hurt, but it can also help. Favorite Matheny era, says Pablo Swanson. You know, I'm not intimately familiar with all of Matheny's stuff. You know, like I've seen plenty of stuff, and heard and played, you know, plenty of Matheny tunes. I love First Circle, as cheesy and new agey as that stuff is. Like you put on First Circle and there's a good chance I'm going to be singing along like in tears, you know. I love that song. And I think Pat is amazing for, you know, his part in kind of, you know, the jazz timeline, like his first record with Jaco and Bob Moses and stuff. And I have that jazz DVD that everyone got like in the 90s with him and Dave Holland and Jack DeJohnette and Herbie Hancock. And they do a tune on there called, oh man, it's like Reggae and Nine, I think is the name of the tune. Like it's so cool, man. Like look that up on YouTube. I love Jack DeJohnette, and yeah, Pat is a giant. Do I know Toss from McGinn? Yes. I went to Musicians Institute in 1993, 1994. Toss was the teacher there, and yeah, I was so into his playing, and he was kind of into the, you know, we're into the similar drummers. There was two guys at MI that really like had a big effect on me. Toss Panis, and there's this other guy named Gary Garbatini who was a teacher there, who was just amazing, and he was all into like the Vinny stuff too, and he taught me a lot of that stuff. So hello to Toss, hello to Gary, and also Toss was recording a lot at that time, and I ended up getting those recordings, and that kind of opened doors for me musically. Like he was playing with Mike Keneally a lot. Mike Keneally's guitar player, it's amazing. He used to play with Frank Zappa, and then he went on and like has his own you know, musical career, and he's got some CDs. Like there was a Mike Keneally CD called Hat, and another one called Boil That Dust Speck. Like really crazy comedic rock and roll, obviously because it's cut from the Frank Zappa fabric, right? And Toss is on a lot of that stuff, and I enjoyed Toss's drumming, and I enjoyed that music too, actually. So yes, that's how I met him. Let's see, have you ever done drums while playing Acid Man? No. Sorry, Robert. Scott Dunn, same here. Okay, I'd buy that video. Let's see, really appreciate the answer. It will take time to get back. Yes, B-Suits, hang in there. You know, it's not a contest, you guys. Drumming is not a contest. Music is not a contest. You know, it's one of the things I love about drumming, and that it motivates me to come back here every time. Because, you know, during the pandemic and stuff, I've heard people get discouraged and like, oh, why even bother? Like, I'm just a guy in a room, you know? And the thing is, like, we're lucky to have this outlet because it's healthy. Physically, it's healthy. Mentally, it's healthy because the unique thought process it takes to do this. And emotionally, it's stimulating for me. If you get emotionally stimulated by music and drumming, so like it checks a lot of boxes. It's just healthy. You know, and that's one of the reasons I like to come here. And also it's a good distraction from like the everyday like mental merry-go-round that some people have. Like I have that where I'm constantly thinking about like whatever the things, the important things, you know what I mean? And like when I'm drumming, you know, like that gets turned off. It's one of the few things that turns it off. You know, it's like riding a motorcycle. Like I have a friend that had a motorcycle, and he was saying that was one of the benefits to that, because he too, like we were talking about the merry-go-round, and he's like, when he's riding his motorcycle, he's just like, please don't die, please don't die, please don't die. You know, and then you get to the red light and you stop, and the merry-go-round immediately picks up. You're like, okay, my wife, my job, my family. And then you start driving again, and you're like, please don't die, please don't die. It's crazy. Let's see, what kind of practice schedule do you keep? You're looking at it. I don't have a practice schedule these days, but when I was young and when I was going to music school and stuff, I was practicing as much as I could, and I was just practicing the things that were important to me at that time. Creating vocabulary, getting reading together, getting confident in all the different styles, practicing the different styles at different tempos. You know, that's the stuff that I wanted to do because I wanted to be able, I didn't want to say no to any gigs because I couldn't do the style. So I wanted to learn all the styles. Use constant release motion with feet. No. Constant release motion with feet. I don't know. Check out the last stream. We talked about feet. And I put my camera over my pedal and like demonstrated my foot technique. I'm not amazing with my feet. I just worked on my feet until I could do what I wanted to do, which is play 2 or 3 notes at the most at a time, which is what most folks do. So I don't think too much about that. Let's see, your triple phrasing series and helpful jazz exercises took my playing to the next level, says Dr. Ummer. Get it, drummer? Prepped for me for Riley's books too. You're welcome. I'm glad. I mean, that stuff is so fun. The triplet stuff, all like weaving together, all anchored to the quarter note. Favorite album with Gad on it. I don't know if I have a favorite, but you know, there's a song that Al Jarreau did with Marcus Miller and Gad's on there called what is it? You never. I forget the name of the song, you guys. You won't. I think it's like You Won't See Me. That's the name of it. You won't see me. I love Gad's playing on there. My favorite Gad performance. Okay, Zildjian Day, New York. The old like video with Vinny and Tommy Campbell and Axel Cunha and Steve Gadd. Because I mean, let's face it, most of the Steve Gadd performances are like, you know, the same kind of stuff, which is beautiful because that's Steve's stuff and he came up with that stuff and that stuff changed drumming forever. But you know, as time goes by, you start to see the pattern, right? And I think my favorite version of the Steve stuff is that Zildjian Day video, man. He is so into it. And he like dances while he plays. I don't know if you guys have noticed that. Like when Steve plays, he's like dancing while he plays. And that energy just comes through the drumming, you know? It's like Elvin and like we talked about Bernard before. It's the same kind of thing. Like he doesn't just sit there and play. Like he's like playing, like dancing and playing. I love that stuff. Let's see, music is not a contest, but I will say growing up, my friends and I had a healthy competition which drove us to all improve and take things to the next level. That's true. When you're young, you're competitive, and musicians are competitive even more so. But after a while, after you get tired of debating like what's better than what, you start to see the big picture, which is like, maybe it's not about this, you know? Let's see, mine's all Jarreau. Yes, drumming equals bliss. Can you tell us something about your foot technique? People keep asking about feet. Double stroke phrasing series. Sheesh, I forget the name, but I know the material. Okay. Thanks for the answer, American Bald Guy. Bobby Zinson, how is the bass drum set up, muffled, and tuning? I muffle my bass drum pretty heavily. I mean, if you guys want to talk about feet, like everyone's asking about feet, so like I can take the camera off the thing and show you, you know, if you want. I have, you know what I have in my bass drum? I have a bath mat. I have a freaking bath mat on my bass drum because of the rubber on the bottom prevents it from moving. And so I have the rug like a little bit against the bass drum. I don't put too much thought into it, you know. I just want my bass drum to sound like big and boomy, and you know, because that's a big responsibility in the groove is the boom to the boom boom chick, you know. Can you speak about how you tune? Sure. I like my snare to be like poppy. You know, this is just me, like, not, like, if you're recording a song or something, then, like, this song should dictate this kind of stuff. You know, but I definitely have an ideal sound that I try to go for, and I'd be lying if I said it wasn't, you know, heavily inspired by Weck, you know, but it's not that sound exactly, you know, because I use different heads, and I'm not as much of a perfectionist, you know what I mean? I'm really lazy, you guys, and so as soon as something is like at the good enough level, like I just kind of leave it be and move on to something else. And this probably could use a tuning pass, but like just generally I do, like my tuning foundation started with the Weck thing, which was like the bottom head is higher than the top. You know, like, oh, the top head's higher than the bottom. See what I mean? Let's see where they're at. Sorry. I like my floor tom to be like kind of thunderous, really, you know. The snare, I like, you know, to kind of, you know, tune it kind of high pitched, you know, higher than not, I guess. But I find that this lug comes loose on it, like it's loose right now. But you know, like clean doubles are a big part of my playing, and I find that like a higher pitched snare drum kind of like, you know, accentuates that and lets that stuff come out, you know. But I don't know, I want to be the kind of player that's like, I want to be able to sit down on anything and make it talk, you know what I mean? And it's not so much like, oh, I want it to sound great. It's like, I just don't want my drums to sound bad. And honestly, these drums, they almost tune themselves. Like as soon as you start tuning these drums, they sound good. These are Yamaha Phoenix drums, PHX drums. I love these drums, all right? Birch, maple, jatopa are the three kind of woods in here. These shells are really thick, and these drums, they're significantly louder than most other drums, which I really like. You know, that's that like rock foundation coming out of it. You don't have to work terribly hard to get these drums to sing, you know. So yeah, when I'm starting from scratch with a new head, I'm like bottom head a little higher than the top, and I'll start like, you know, I'll have all the lugs on the tom. Like, I don't know, I don't want to spend too much time on this. I'll loosen them all, right? Completely loosen them, and then I'll tighten them as much as they can go, like with just my hand, right? And then I'll tune them up all a little bit, and then I'll just start whacking the drum from there, and I just keep tuning up until I'm happy with it. And I guess, you know, another important answer to this is like, I definitely have an idea of the sound that I want in my head. You know, I like my toms to resonate like doom, you know, like I don't want the, you know. And a lot of drummers, that's their sound. You know, the guys don't think about this stuff too much, or it certainly doesn't sound like they do. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to dog on other drummers' sound that when my drums probably sound like crap right now. But like resonant toms, like thunderous floor toms, really low resonant. You know, I like a big bass drum sound, you know, but like muffled, not too open. Yeah, and like a high pitched snare. You know, that's kind of what I'm going for. You know. But I have very particular, again, like I want my hats to do very particular things. I want my ride, you know, I want definition for my ride. Like I want to be able to hear all the strokes, and I want it to be, you know, to have like different voices. Like on the first stream, we talked about that, like, you know, the different voices you can get out of your ride, like using the tip versus using the shoulder versus hitting the bell and having control over all that stuff. Let's see, play Summit for us, brother. I don't know what Summit means. Can you speak about how you tune? Okay, we just did that. Gonna hop on the lug lock tip. All right, can you talk about improvising in odd times? That's a great question. Let's do that. Tips about soloing over a vamp. Yeah, we'll maybe get to that. Let's talk about soloing on odd time. All right, again, if you guys want to support the channel, click that super. All right. I like playing in 7. That's my favorite time signature to improvise in, so I'm gonna do that at first, and then we'll talk about it. 4, 5, 6, 7. Xavier Keys with the $1.99. Thank you, Xavier, very much for the support there, buddy. So there is some improvising in 7. Okay. Here's how I got to that place where I could kind of get some freedom in 7. What I did was I approached 7 in the same way that I approached 4, right? And I actually took some stuff from 4, like 4 vocabulary, and brought it over to playing in 7, right? Like if you take a very basic fill and you ask yourself, excuse me, like what is the 7 version of that fill? You know? So let's play in 7, but let's just play really simple. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Start like at the most basic thing, like just play those 7 notes like on the snare drum, right? And then you can start to fill in the 8th notes in between them if we're playing in 7/4, right? Start leaving space. Right, like leave space, but still like come out on 1, because that'll help you keep track of those of the time, right? James Hall with the $2 donation, $20 donation. My mistake, James Hall, $20 donation. Thank you, buddy. All right, talking about playing at 7. Leave that space, right? And you know these are things that I can just like I just sing to myself before I even start playing, right? Because that's where it starts. It starts here. It starts here. So before it even gets here, we talk about playing 7. I'm like da da go go. Got, cha, go. Okay, so how do I know where 1 is when we're playing in 7, right? That's really what I should talk about, right? Tobias Comer, hey Steve, can you explain the ladder, please? We did that last stream, Tobias. Go check out stream part 2. We talked about the ladder a lot. When I learned 7, you guys, I programmed a drum machine to give me all the quarter notes, and I stacked a bunch of voices on 1 because I wanted to be like in my face, like claps and cymbals, cowbells, bass drums. Like that's what 1 sounded like. It was like noise, right? So the click, when I practiced this to the click, it sounded like this. It was like dash ding 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 dash ding 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 ding. Like it was crazy because I wanted to hammer 1 in my head, because of course that's the thing that's going to lose you if you're not used to playing in 5 and 7 and 9, 11, blah blah blah. It's like 1 comes in that unexpected place, and so I wanted to reinforce that. I literally wanted to hammer it in my head, and so I would suggest doing that, you know, or get one of these, you know, get one of these drum machines that actually says the quarter note, like the Chris Coleman shit, like the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you know, like that stuff. Like he practices along with that stuff. He does clinics with that stuff. I think it's great, you know. But do that, like, you know, blast it in your head and pay attention to it when you are practicing. And I always compare this kind of thing to like swimming. Like start in the shallow end, you know, where the water's kind of up to your waist. You know, you got the little floaties on your arms, and you're just like playing a basic groove in 7. Boom, boom, ba, chickadoon, stagoon. Boom, boom, ba, chickadoon, skadoon. 1, you know, and say it to yourself, just like when you're, just like, you know, how would you answer if someone was like, man, can you help me play in 4? Like whatever you would say to them applies to playing in 7, pretty much, you know, I mean, there's things that are specific to 7, but by and large, like that's it. So, and then once you get comfortable playing a basic groove, and like I was doing, like you're playing all those eighth notes, like 1, 2, 3, 4. Of course, my left hand's just going to start filling in those ands just out of a habit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And if you arrive at a fill like that you like just play it over and over, but like give yourself the bass drum on 1 or play a cymbal on 1. So you're literally teaching it to yourself. Like 1. That's the next step. Like I'm used to it on the snare drum, I start playing on the bass drum, right? Because that's like the changing the music, like das daga das das dos do do dos back dance bagasta. Like this is what I'm hearing here. This is what I'm feeling here, And start slow, start simple. Practice along with something that reinforces 1. And take a fill that you like to play in 4, your favorite 4 stuff, and bring it over to 7. Chop off the necessary notes, chop off the 8th note, right? Because 4/4 is 8/8. So if you're playing in 7/8, you just chop off 1. So if we take like a fancy fill like in 4/4, like 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like a busy fusion-y fill. Like, what's the 7 version of that? Like, if the 4 version is do ta da do stick it do boost ba ba. What's the 7 version? The 7 version is like do ta da do stick it do da ba ta da do stick it do da ba ba da do stick it do ba. I'm sorry. It's taking like a busy fusion-y wannabe fill like in 4 and play it in 7, and play it slow. And another cool thing to think about when you're playing these odd meters, and obviously like that Sting stuff with Vinny is good, reference for this stuff. Like Saint Augustine in Hell is a tune that's in 7 that Sting does, but Vinny keeps the quarter note going through the whole thing, because if you notice, because we're playing in odd meter, odd numbers of 8th notes, and there are 2 8th notes in a quarter note. And that means that when you play a quarter note over 7, it starts on the downbeat, but the next bar, it's on the upbeat. And then the next bar, it's on the downbeat. And if you listen to St. Augustine in Hell, you can hear he's on the ride cymbal, right? So if you're like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Drum and snare drum, just playing that groove. So you want to be able to feel that. You want to be able to sing 7 and just be, understand where the quarter note is. 1. And that's the other thing is I had to tell myself like what counts that quarter note falls on. It's like 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, 2, 3, 4, 6, 1, 3, 5, 7, 1, 2, 4, 6. That's where the quarter note is, right? And so that also is helpful. And once you build that foundation, doing the things that we're talking about, then you can just speed it up and have fun with it, And just play all your 4 stuff and just bring it to 7, Then you can have fun and like really improvise on it, So Okay, Steve breaks over. Ah! Yeah, that's a great tune. So James Hall, I hope that helps playing in 7. All that stuff applies to playing in 5 too, which I can do, but not as well. All right. How long have we been going, you guys? We've been going for 87 minutes. Jeez, that's a lot of drumming. All right. What are we talking about next? Brings her any insight on optimal snare height for traditional grips, says Connor Vera. Bobby's like, it's 90 minutes. That's true. Connor, I mean, you know, I used to have my snare drum really high. And something actually that helped me was realizing, like, this was actually something that Weck told me when he saw me play, to give credit where it's due, is the fact that there's a climactic point to your stroke. You know, if the drum stroke is like, if it's like half a circle or half a sphere, there's like a halfway point. You know, and ideally that's where you want the stick to hit the drum. You don't want to cut off. If the drum's too high, then you're kind of like interrupting that stroke and the stick is hitting the head before the stroke is done. Or if it's too high, you end up like lifting your arms to compensate for that. You know what I mean? And again, this is all subjective. Like different things work for different people, you know? I'm just talking about my experience. You know, I want to be kind of relaxed. I want to be centered. I want my thighs to be straight. You know what I mean? And my forearm is straight. You know, this is relaxed. I want to be relaxed. You know, and if it's too high, then I have to, my default position needs to come up, which takes muscle, right? I'm already using energy, like keeping my hands raised. If my hands are down here, they're relaxed, right? And I want to conserve energy. Like I want to be efficient, you know? And I want to hit the drum at the climactic point in the stroke. So that's what dictates the height. You know, so you can see right here. Boom, halfway. Boom, halfway. Not past the halfway point, not before the halfway point. Stuff. I was trying to do like do and I couldn't do it. It's because I suck. Anyway, that's where I'm at with snare height. Can you explain the ladder, please? Yeah, we talked about the last. I can't find it online. Go to the Tobias. Check out the iPhone drum stream part 2. We about 3/4 of the way through that. We spent a lot of time on the ladder. Let's see, we got some more questions. I see them appearing on my phone and then they appear like a minute later on the laptop, because they just disappear on the phone. And so I'm just like, let's see. You the man, thank you very much. Holden McGee. And I hope that stuff was helpful, James. Let's see, 81 minutes. It's interesting, the delay, because I saw a question come up there, but now I'm waiting for it to come up here. This is totally lame. If I was watching this on YouTube, I'd be like, this guy's lame. I'm going away. But hey, we still got 56 people. Maybe I'll just play some more. Do some actual practicing. What do you think? What I should do is text my wife. Let's play for a little bit more and then we'll call it, okay? Let's do that. Let's do a little more improvising and then we'll call it. There's been lots of stuff here today. If you want to support the channel, hit that super. I see a lot of comments on the phone, but none of them are coming up here. I'll keep an eye on the laptop. Wait for the comments to come in, okay?